Yo, what's going on? This is Relaxing OG Jackson, and I am back with my friends yet again, and we have a special guest with us today. Somebody that I'm sure people want to hear from. This is somebody that we've definitely listened to in the past. We've enjoyed his music. We've enjoyed his career. People we have with us today, Charles Hamilton. How are you doing today, Charles?
Live and well. What's going on?
Not so bad.
Not so bad, man. Top of the year, man. How's everything going for you so far? Well,
I mean, I've, ups and downs, but so far I'm holding the year down my own way. You know what I mean? Instead of dropping shit because I got hot music, I'm taking my time and giving you micro doses.
Okay, that's what's up.
Nah, there's nothing wrong with that though, man. It's like just a little bit at a time. Keep them just when they're coming back for like more when they come back to listen to your music. So
now, how are you feeling, man? How's everything been for you? Like in the last few years, how's things been for you during I would say the pandemic, and just how's everything been for you lately?
Well, since I changed my name to the talented Mr. Hamilton, I relaunched my YouTube, and I've been getting a lot of traction on my YouTube. I'm pretty shy, so I really didn't get too involved in the YouTube stuff outside of like interviews with other, publications and interaction with fans, maybe a freestyle here and there. So once I started directing all the attention to my YouTube channel and creating content on my own, I've noticed a sense of independence. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need an A&R or an executive, or dare I say even a friend telling me you got to do this to get this type of attention. Like I'm doing it all on my own, and I'm very proud of myself for that. And so the last few years been a lot of hard work, but this year I plan on smelling the roses from about 2020, 2019 up until this year.
That's what's up. Hard work paying off, for the future and whatnot.
Hard work pays off, so I take no days off,
Okay, I hear you.
Oh, that's a fact. Yeah. That's definitely a fact. Yeah. So even like just with like going through like just that, like from what it sounds like going through that new process of like building up your YouTube from like just, it sounds like from an independent standpoint now and kind of just curating it for yourself. Like what would you say is like just some of the biggest takeaways you've had so far from that?
I mean, it's hard work. For me, producing, writing, recording, mixing, mastering a song, it's second nature. So to go from, perfecting a song to now having to do the video, to have to find the artwork for it and all that stuff, it's a whole nother grind. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if you know, but I would make albums with no cover on it until my Star Chasers to make a cover for it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Okay. Now I'm finding the artwork. I'm doing the artwork, or I have a Star Chaser. In particular, Chris Rivera, he'll do the artwork. And it's interactive, but it's a lot of hard work on my end because I gotta conceptualize what I want to see the image to be and then convey that message to him. So even in dealing with audio, I'm still dealing with the visual.
Do you think that doing all the work by yourself and with your team, like, does it make your art more concise by the time it's done?
Oh, by the time it's done, I'm sick of it.
Okay.
I'm sure, and that goes from day one. By the time I'm done with an album, I don't want to hear that shit no more.
I hear you. I'm not mad at that.
I put so much work in. Like, I'm excited about Hypergoth. I don't know if you heard about it. I'm excited about it.
Listen to it.
Yeah, we definitely checked it out.
Man, I put so much work in on that album. By the time I was done in about May of last year, I don't want to hear this shit no more. You know what I mean? Because it was just like, I know I killed the bars, the beats are fire. The only complaint would be the singing. And that comes from that's more of a theatrical standpoint.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How alive are you supposed to be as a goth listening to Curtis Mayfield?
Okay, so I hear that. So
that's an interesting take.
Now, do you shoot your own videos too? Because you said that you do everything on your own. Does that include music videos?
Well, my videos are more like, work with me here. I'm trying to find another way to say it, but more like psychic interpolations of the song.
Got you.
So
Okay.
if you've seen the video for the Nightmare, not the Nightmare before Christmas, Extinguished. I have a song called Extinguished on my YouTube. That was communication out nonverbal between me and DJ Jazzy Jeff while he's DJing. So I'm
Oh, okay.
rapping about what he's doing. I'm rapping about DJing as DJ Jazzy Jeff, but that's not any of the lyrics at all. And DJ Jazzy Jeff wasn't DJing the song, but the, dare I say, illusion was he was scratching to that song.
You're trying to put us in the mindset as if you were Jazzy Jeff actually mixing,
Exactly.
having the experience.
Exactly.
So like something like that, like where does that come from? Like just as an artist, because creatively speaking, that's not something you always hear artists being able to do. So like where does that come from just artistically?
Well, everything nowadays, not even nowadays, that's another point I got to make. Everything has been hinging on belief.
Okay.
Let's talk about Bambi, for example.
The movie?
You know that there's a bunch of hunters in the woods. You know that they clap deer. Yeah, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm so insensitive.
No, you're fine.
But
No, you good.
they take out deer. You know that they
Yeah.
separate families, and you can compare
Yeah.
the hunters in the forest to the slave trade.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Just off the immediate go. But the story is about a young deer, and that young deer was very fledgling in the beginning, is trying to run, keep itself safe. But you believe that Bambi's gonna be okay because it's Disney.
Yeah.
And Disney wouldn't hurt your feelings like that.
But in reality,
Now,
sorry, go ahead.
believing keeps the movie going in a positive direction. But if you know how cinema plays on the twist and so on and so forth, your innocence may have blocked you from seeing the true ending of Bambi.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah.
what I'm trying to do is get people to receive information without their innocence being torn away from them. And innocently speaking, everyone can speak telepathically. They just haven't figured out how to do it. Once you speak telepathically, you're begging the person that you're speaking to believe in that telepathic message. So you got to be as cool as DJ Jazzy Jeff to not allow your own mind to debunk itself, because once you got it, you got it.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
And I think fellas, I think y'all understand where I'm coming from, feeling the overall vibration. I think Darius understands.
yeah,
Yeah. No, I definitely get it. It's even like in the sense of like let's say when you're in a room with a group of friends, for instance, like, and something happens, no one says anything in the room, but you can make eye contact and y'all both are having that conversation without
the
anything
subtext.
being said. Yeah.
That goes to the synergy of the DJ and the MC. If you notice, they always say psychic vibrations. Vibrations you don't always hear, but they exist because you feel them.
Mhm.
A psychic vibration is higher than what you've already known it to be, because it's psychic. It's of the mind.
So
let me help you out a little bit. I don't. So psychic is, definition as an adjective, is relating to or denoting faculties or phenomena that are apparently inexplicable by natural laws, especially involving telepathy or clairvoyance, relating to the soul or the mind. So music like Curtis Mayfield, Isaac Hayes, Barry White, soul music can be attributed to predicting the nonsense in R&B nowadays. Because like they always say like, that guy over there does this, I do this. They know they got the vibration. They know they got the vibe. The look in between the eyes of Barry White and his woman is the psychic notion. So Barry White spent his whole life writing about that psychic notion. And as much as he would want to call it mind sex, it was soul music.
So when you write your music nowadays, are you more concerned with what you're saying in your raps, or I should say in your songs, or are you more concerned with how the overall song feels instead of just the message you're conveying?
I mean, it's hip hop. So I gotta be concerned. Happy birthday, hip hop. Like I gotta be concerned with what I'm saying all throughout the song. There's also moments where what I'm saying, I might flub a word, but the next 4 bars be the craziest shit you heard in your life. I gotta ask myself, do I want to be a perfectionist or do I want to go with the vibration? And if your mind is open, the more you're open to hearing me recover a line or two.
No, I see. I get what you're saying from there. Like, so like even like in that craftsmanship, like where at what, because I know even like creatively speaking, like it's everything's free flowing, but like at what point do you, I guess, for lack of better terms, put some type of parameter around it, right? Like of saying, oh, like, hey, I like kind of going back to what you're saying with like being a perfectionist or just going with the vibration. Like at what point do these two things like kind of intersect? Where you're, or do you just say it's just going with the vibration, or is it, hey, let the going with the vibration intersect with that perfectionism to some extent?
Well, that all comes in when you sign a deal. The labels only put out perfection. They don't care how dope the bars were after you said blubbly blubbly. The whole verse got to be fire,
Right?
Or at least audible. So one thing I got to give to this new generation is when you write a song and you sign a deal, they ask for the exact written verse so that they can put you down for publishing. So these mumble rappers are actually saying some shit. You just got to listen for it because they're getting publishing.
Yeah.
Right.
But then they sell their publishing on the side. Then they think it doesn't matter. So you end up not understanding what either could be a good song or what is it meant to be understood.
I wanted to ask, when labels pick up artists, I guess you more specifically, are they looking for a specific sound from you, or they're kind of like, hey, we like how you are as an artist, we want you to put more of that out, or they want you to be a certain way?
Nah, the labels want what I do. Labels want to sign me so I can do what I do.
Okay.
And part of the problem was with my previous deal was management signed Charles Hamilton, the artist. They didn't sign Charles Hamilton, the artist, producer, musician, engineer, all the titles that I have. They only signed me as an artist because they couldn't afford the production.
Okay.
And they didn't believe in the production because they were from the UK. So it goes back to believe. They didn't believe. They saw I was handsome, rapping my ass off, make my own beats, play the piano, many instruments. They wanted to exhaust, if you will, the good looks, the piano playing, and the rapping, the clever rapping. They wanted to exhaust that and make that marketable. So when management went to Republic Records, they said, "Oh, you got Charles Hamilton? Bet we can't wait." I don't give a fuck about what people say. They want that music.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But management wouldn't let me talk to Republic without them. So Republic was dissatisfied with the EP and the LP. Management was satisfied, but can't figure out why Republic ain't answering their calls.
Okay.
And I had to make an EP and an LP while I'm on several medications, depressed, living with mom, like not making the kind of music I want to make, no weed. Like it was just like a whole bunch of stumbling blocks in my path. I still knocked it out, but I'm not interested in being in a position where I'm not trying to be a subordinate.
Yeah.
Like if a label wants me, and there are a few labels that I'm talking to, if a label wants me, they gotta take me as I am.
So where, if anywhere, do you think that you fit in the music landscape today as far as rap and hip hop, or do you think you're an outlier more or less?
Uh, well, let me put it to you like this. Last year, the music business was on a quest to kind of recapture that old thing. And instead of me rapping over every hot beat that came out, like Super Gremlins and whatever, like Big Lotto, Big Energy, instead of rapping over those type of joints, I stuck with Ninth Wonder, Alchemist, DJ Green Lantern, DJ Jazzy Jeff, Korn, Jim Carrey with a sense of humor, Andre 3000. Like I stayed in my DJ Green Lantern. I think I said Green Lantern, right?
Yeah.
Like Columbine Gang. I don't know if you know about my blog, Columbine Gang, but those are my chosen influences. You know, there's a lot of controversy when you say Dilla's your main influence. There's a lot of controversy when you say Madlib is your main influence. This is like mad unnecessary questions. So I had my own influence circle of influence, and I did my thing repeatedly. Now the numbers might have been low, but I know for a fact that all it takes is 2 or 3 of the right people to watch one video, and you're out of here on the inside.
Absolutely.
You know, so if I got 200 views on it, but Monty and Avery Lippman are the 2 views on it, I won because they already know the quality comes from my section. Every label knows what time it is. Every star chaser knows what time it is. It's about me in capturing the rest of the world. You know what I'm saying? And then it's a little magic trick. Like I'm sure my numbers will jump up, you know, by the click of a mouse. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like I've dropped flops because I've seen my influence in the mainstream.
Okay.
I mean, what do you think? Like, do you think I've been dropping flops, y'all?
Nah.
No, I mean, I think, and I'm sorry, Nigel, but I think like there's today's rap climate, you got a lot of variations of different rappers that are acceptable than versus back then. So I think rappers like yourself or rappers that might they're all about the bars or storytelling versus rappers that's all about like trap shit, street shit. I feel like you always have an audience for all of that. So I would never necessarily say that artist is specifically flopping because I'm like they have a legitimate fan base. There's people out there that's willing to spend their time and maybe spend their money to listen to this particular artist. So I want to say you flop. Now if you're talking to some 12-year-old kid that only listens to like the mainstream artists and that's it, yeah, they're gonna say ignorant things or disrespectful things. But for those with a more mature sound or pay attention to the rap game, I don't think that would be their answer.
Well, you had to let me know because I deal with the young kids that are ignorant.
Okay.
Because they compare me to the Uzis and the Yachties and stuff like that. And it's like, even if on a high level, Uzi is somebody that I'd be cool with.
Okay.
There's still a bit of, you know, on both of our ends, a bit of competition. You know, like he don't care if I cry. He can't see me in a battle.
Okay.
You know, like he just want to rock. I've already done it.
Yeah.
Nah, I feel you on that one.
Now, would you work with any of the mainstream artists if opportunities come by? Not even just mainstream artists. Maybe let's just say like, you know, more artists that are maybe on the underground level or something like that. Would you work with them if they're like, hey, Charles, I want you on a feature or I want to do a collaboration project, or maybe, hey, I want to hear some of your beats. Is that something you would be open to, or are you just kind of like you're in your own lane? No, it's all good.
The obvious answer is yes, but the condition is they would have to take direction.
Okay.
They would have to listen to how I want it put down because obviously I believe in them if I'm working with them.
Right.
Again, once again, it all falls back to belief. Like I worked with Max B before, like maybe a week before he went to jail.
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh wow.
He said, I got the bars already. It's always the hook. I was like, you got the hook. It's the bars. You got to believe that. He's like, all right, I'm going to listen to you. So he's walking around. He's writing his phone or whatever. And he gets that spark. He said, hit my nigga Charles, I'll be Charlie, probably run my life, running from the authorities. Like
Max
that line,
Rigavell.
that's a special line because I'm sure you know about the holy trinity of Chuck, Charlie, and Charles.
Yeah.
So he's trying to tell me, I'm not trying to step on your toes, but my name is Charlie Wingate. And I said, I'm not trying to step on your toes, but I sing and harmonize in my songs. So we was sipping Hennessy and laughing and joking about the whole shit. So he lays his verse down and he starts singing the hook. He's like, ow, 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 ow. I said, Max, you gotta put some lyrics in that. He said, what? The bitches love that shit. I said, yeah, but they want to sing along to some shit. I said, all right, how about this? I'll be just fine. He stopped and thought about it. He said, I bet. He laid the hook down like 2 or 3 takes. He said, yo, you the first producer I took direction from, man. Good looking out. I said, no doubt. So if Max B could take direction,
yeah,
anybody could take direction. You know, I'm not being a diva. It's just sometimes you got to be a hard nose.
No, yeah. I mean that's definitely true. My bad, Spence. But yeah, you made a good point about Max B. If somebody like him is willing to, you know, have an open mind about shit, other artists should too.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I definitely agree with that. But like, even in that sense, like, I think just from even like how you said before, like if it was you and Uzi, like there's still that competitive nature still, right? So even in that competitive nature, we know a lot of artists may not want to take that direction. So would you even still be open to an artist still wanting to work with you, but saying, hey, I just want to kind of collaborate. We can collaborate on like what we want the thesis of like the overall song to be about, but I'm gonna come in creatively from my direction and you as well. Would you still be open to something like that, or?
I mean, so I had this artist named Energetic, right?
Okay.
And he came to my man Carlito brought him to the studio, and he was like, "Yo, my man Spit, he want to work with you." I was like, "All right, I got a resume or whatever. Not everybody can just walk up to me and rap. I mean, he spit." So I put on some Ninth Wonder beats. And I was gonna put him on, let him rap to him, you know, see what he does. Maybe do a track or two. This nigga rapped on Ninth Wonder beats for 45 minutes.
Oh shit.
And just kept going. And he broke down his lyrical style to me in a verse. So much like myself, Jay-Z, even Tyga, he writes in his head, but he writes fast. So sometimes he, you know, got a mush mouth when he's saying what he's got to say. But he actually broke down how he'll plant an idea in your head, throw the dirt on it, water it, watch it grow, and then chop it down lyrically. So once I saw that, I was like, all right, let me see what you do on my beats. So we did about 40 something tracks the first day we met. And
wow,
literally he took my direction and he did his thing. And he allowed me to do my thing on the production side with his voice. Trusted me, we had 650,000 downloads. So as long as you trust the process, the success is there. I'm not going to do you dirty because I'm the one that's producing it. So I need it to sound super good too. You know what I mean? Like I need my shit to be dope. Regardless, I don't make bullshit beats for artists that I don't like. Like if I don't like an artist, I'm likely to give him a top tier beat.
Yeah.
So, you know, that might piss off a few of my constituents, but you know, like I give people an opportunity every time to knock it out the park.
So seeing as you like been around for like a bit of time and you've been making music for decades at this point in time, like for sure. Mm-hmm. How would you say that you see your influence like in the rap game now, and like who is somebody that you're closely paying attention to?
I was paying a lot of it. Let me answer your second question first. I was paying a lot of attention to Young Thug.
Okay.
Because I feel like you gotta have a lot of balls to put yourself out there like that.
True.
Because off the name alone, he's a suspect, but he's actually a dope MC.
Okay.
You know? So I look at, you know, Young Thug, I can see my influence because he put himself out there. He puts himself out there. You know what I'm saying? Uzi, as far as the Goth influence, Playboy Cardi. There's a few others, Suicide Boys.
Yeah.
There's a few of them that I feel like are taking cues from me, but I'm not mad at them. It's a matter of, do you want to collaborate? And they know what my sound is. They know what my rhythm is.
Yeah.
And I know what their rhythm is. And their rhythm and my rhythm clash. So no matter what is said, even if I say I like these niggas, they, because of the last few seconds, they're gonna feel like I don't fuck with them. Therefore, they're gonna send shots at me.
Right.
Right.
You know, and I'm not Neo. I get hit with every bullet. I don't dodge bullets, you know. So I feel like my influence is as heavy as it is on all genres. I mean, you got to see it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? I think that's more of a question you got to answer for yourself, because I can point out my influence, but it's always far fetched. Like you got to kind of see for yourself. Like, I mean, Meek Mill sampled Me, Myself, and I. You know what I mean? Obviously the J. Cole. What's the song where he sampled "Shorty Swing My Way"?
I can't think of the name. I know what song you're talking about. I can't think of the name of it at the moment though.
Yeah, like my influence is there. You know what I'm saying? Like people hear my music. I hear people. I let the shit go every time it comes around. You know what I mean? I know that my influence is heavy, and I take pride in that. You know what I mean? Like, that's, people listen to it, they love the music, they fuck with it, awesome. You know what I mean? Like, just keep running up YouTube. Now there's a place where they can run the shit up at. And I got my Bandcamp, Charles Hamilton and the number 3.bandcamp.com. It's just charleshamilton3.bandcamp.com.
Yes, sir.
I would definitely say, you know, we see your influence through people, like, as I would say, definitely people put themselves out in the public eye, you know, a lot more nowadays. So like when the whole social media and, like, you know, all the blogs and whatnot were, you know, kind of fresh, like that was definitely something that kind of led the way for other artists throughout the time.
I mean, vulnerability makes you a martyr. You know, if you're willing to put yourself out there like that, you can't get killed.
It's true.
And I've killed myself on more than one occasion, both in the public eye and literally. So there's nothing that really scares me outside of California gangsters.
Okay.
You know.
No, is there a reason? Is there a reason why the California gangsters is the only thing that terrifies you?
Nah, they don't give a fuck. Them niggas don't give a fuck about nothing. Like, to have them on my side would be awesome. You know what I'm saying? But like, I wear pink, and apparently pink is a gang-related color.
Okay,
And I'm not in New York to have, you know, my troops be like, nah, Charles, he peace. If I say to them I'm neutral, then they know I know about gang life, and that's gonna start a problem. So I just wear my pink, you know, pray to, you know, no problem. But yeah, California gangsters, them niggas don't give a fuck about nothing.
Yeah, I mean it's understandable. Everybody, there's always something that can have you a little bit more apprehensive, you could say. But like, even outside of just that, though, like, I know, like, just from what I'm hearing in terms of like where you are and like what you're doing now, like even like with the music that you're making currently, right? Mm-hmm. Do you feel as though like the music, and this is coming from like just as a fan, because like I've told people before, like I think when you dropped Outside Looking back in like 2008, it was like the only thing I listened to like that whole summer, because like I was just having like this camp that I was at. So like I know even from that perspective, like songs like Pure Imagination, I think of, where there's some sense of transparency like in the music. Do you feel as though like the music you put out today is still has that transparency, and like just where you are, based off where you are right now in your life?
It's transparent to those who know. So let me say it like this. Pure Imagination was about one girl in particular, but I was able to serenade many girls. Now that's not to, you know, talk about being a player, but I was talking about being in my high school studio and spending the night overnight and not having nobody there with me. So instead of, it went from, hey girl, come spend the night with me in my high school studio, to, is there any girl that wants to spend the night with me in my high school studio? So it
Right.
kind of developed into me reaching out once again on a big level from a personal level, going from the microcosm to the macrocosm. So with my music nowadays, depending on the song, I'm talking to somebody in particular, but I'm doing it on a global scale. So if I'm embarrassing you, you're telling on yourself by making a move.
Okay,
If you
yeah.
don't understand, I'll gladly explain it to you, but the context is what it is. You know, the supersonic philosophy is there is a context for everything.
Right.
6 words.
Okay. So
So go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. You're good.
So like I said, like I'm trying to, I was listening to it. Oh, I said, guilty me, this is pleasure. I wish it could last forever. Like like a guilt, like a guilty pleasure is, it's easy to make music. I wish it could last forever because making music is very hard.
Yeah.
But when you get on a personal scale, like I'm talking, talking to my girl, she knows what I do that she likes, and I'm guilty because I'm giving her pleasure, and she knows that I'm giving her pleasure. So she can either stop me or allow it to happen. So it
No.
goes from a technical bar to a romantic bar in the same context.
Double
Now,
entendre.
yeah. I got two random questions for you.
Okay.
The first one is there anything of today's current state of rap that you're not necessarily a big fan of? Now, it doesn't have to be an artist. It could be a way the radio plays certain music, or certain genre or subgenre of rap music. Is there anything that's like, hey, I don't like this, and hopefully we can move away from that type shit?
I don't like the tight pants.
Okay.
I feel like we allowed the government to shut us up by taking out the baggy pants.
Okay. All right.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Now,
I mean, I ain't mad at it. And my second question is, now, how do you feel and how do you view where rap is heading to? It could be 2023, it could be 2024 or beyond. Do you feel like it's moving in a direction where it's kind of like it's a more positive light, or you think it's going to be more of a regression type of deal?
well, we're regressing now because the beats, whether it's trap or drill, all
Okay.
kind of mesh with 80s kind of hip hop, like the pop lock kind of hip hop.
Okay.
And even though breakdancing, pop locking, the whole movement is a staple in hip hop, there weren't any bars there. It was kind of
That's
like a
true.
section. It was like a section. So you didn't go to Africa Bambaataa for bars. You didn't go to Cool Herc to freestyle, and you didn't go to Grandmaster Flash to breakdance.
Right.
I'm sort of in the Grandmaster Flash realm. Like, you got to come here with bars.
Okay.
My beats don't mesh very well with trap. You can't, as a DJ, you can't mix a Charles Hamilton record with a modern trap record.
Okay.
But trap meshes with, techno, disco, EDM, Bambaata's music. So it's still in a hip hop vein, but it's not a purist's favorite music. You know what I'm saying? And purists are who keep the culture alive.
I
Okay.
agree with that.
So if like, I don't see anybody pop locking to trap. So obviously they're not thinking about old school hip hop. They're thinking about Coachella, you know what I'm saying? Like big
Yeah.
festivals where they don't rap the lyrics, they just and jump around on stage.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no
It's more.
care. There's no care for the culture.
Yeah.
Now, I've been called a white boy all my life, so you know, it's almost sweet revenge to watch hip hop take a hit like that. But love and hip hop is what propelled me to move forward. So I can't just let hip hop die. So I'm personally going to keep doing what I do at the rate I do it at, and provide some beats, some grooves. Obviously I'm doing this interview, it's kind of short notice. I reached out. It's on me, but
I mean, we appreciate you coming on anyway. You know what I mean?
no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah, so it's all love, and we definitely not tripping about that at all.
Yeah. I'm just, I felt like I wanted to give people with this interview thing an opportunity to ask the right question, so I don't jump out and say something that'll fuck everything up.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah, we appreciate it.
With artists, I feel, in my personal opinion, I feel like the artistry is coming back to rap, but it's more or less on the underground scene. Like here on the Highly Advised podcast, we're like big fans of like the Griselda movement, like with West Side Gun, Benny, and all that. And I think that when you look on the underground side, you do see a little bit more artistry. You see rappers taking more chances. You have, rappers like Estee Knack who like are rapping like nowhere near the mainstream. So do you think that more of that is needed, or do you think that rap is just going to go where it goes from here?
I think if Griselda were to make one conscious product, they would rule hip hop.
Okay.
And they say that their music is, and with all, I love Griselda. I love what they do. I have no beef with Griselda. They think that their music, as far as talking about the street life, so on and so forth, they think that's conscious. That's not really conscious. That's more so talking about the problem. Conscious is building a solution. They're doing the solution. They're making the music. The music is the solution, but they're adding to it by rapping about the street life, like doing it. Like they rap about doing the street shit, but they're actually doing what it takes to bring peace in the streets, which is put all the street shit on a beat, put it out. You don't have to worry about, what's the word I'm looking for? Somebody coming back to get you because it's on a song. Like it's a song, dog. You tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't name names about who they shooting, but retribution. They don't have to worry about somebody getting retribution because they put all of that shit onto a song, to a beat, and they did it more than once. So, like I said, if they can come up with a conscious record, they would run hip hop on some like, nah, little shorty, you don't need to go do what your mama says, clean your room. You know what I'm saying? Like, that just off the reaction from here, you can tell like people would really indulge in Griselda if they reached out to either the next generation or even this current generation. Be like, nah, don't jack Griselda swag. Do. You know what I'm saying? Like if they were to present themselves in such a way, if they were to be gentlemen about the street shit they do, they would go a lot further. They're only known as a street group.
That's a fair point.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, there's nothing in media, in music or anything that puts them in a different light other than three street niggas who got money.
Yeah.
There's nothing that says it.
You're right.
And it's a sad trap that they fell into, but they fell for a trap.
Well, I know we were talking about Griselda, and I know you had stated how if they made a conscious album, it would be, you think it would be one of the greatest things in terms of hip hop releases for them. Yeah. But so the question I have to that though is, and I think from someone that's been in the industry, you probably have much more insight than someone that's just a fan from the outside looking in. Do you feel as though even if they were to make some music like that, or even let's just take it outside of just Griselda specifically, just in general for artists of that are in that lane, if they made something that was of a conscious effort, do you feel as though like the reception would still be that high just because of what the consumers used to being, or what the consumers used to being fed.
Well, no, but that's why I pointed out Griselda, because one of Griselda bears a scar of the street life. You know what I'm saying? Conway.
Yeah.
Got it.
West Side Gun, his voice is so unbelievable that it makes you want to test him, and that's why he's as aggressive as he is, because that's his West Side Gun, his voice. You know, and Benny the Butcher, he's just the hot spitter. So if I see Conway as the lead, Conway's the leader, West Side Gun is the artist, Benny the Butcher is like Rookie of the Year. This is just the original roster, not even looking at who's on it now.
Right.
So if Conway were to say, yo, we got to get kids off the streets with the quickness, and West Side Gun says, yeah, we going to do it like this, and Benny the Butcher picks up on what West Side Gun does and executes it, we would actually have clean streets, because people would either be inside downloading Griselda music or outside picking up the bullets. I mean, it sounds more complicated than it really is. I mean, Fab went conscious with the Soul Tape series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and he was successful. Shit, it was just a free download.
Yeah, that was a classic time, man.
You know, like you got to decide for yourself whether you're going to live by the sword or die by the sword. Because ultimately you're going to fuck around and fall on the sword. Climb through the mountains.
So even like just hearing that, right? Like from the aspect of either you have to live or die by the sword in that nature. Like just thinking just off the top of my head, like just in terms of like the younger artists, like would that just be more of like the messaging that you would have for younger artists that may be listening, that may hear this and say, oh, what can I gain from this conversation with Charles Hamilton based off his experience in the industry?
I mean, my hard work paid off. You know, like I know why I'm not famous. You know, I didn't miss my opportunity. I damn near gave up my opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Because I saw certain political moves that disagreed with my spirit.
Okay.
So I would rather be as true to myself in this interview right now with no, Billboard fame than past where Drake is and y'all niggas calling me a podcast.
We definitely
you feel me?
You would never have to worry about that, man.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from, but I see where you're coming from. Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Not from us. Yeah.
It sounds like it's more about, at the end of the day, you want to have that integrity. Just as
Absolutely.
Integrity. Yep.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I just like integrity is something that, like, whenever I would get in trouble in school, Mom would make me write 5-page papers on character and integrity after she whooped my ass.
Okay.
So I would write 5 pages front and back on integrity, character. Who do I know that has character? You know, like, what does it mean to have integrity? You know, and these things really stuck with me. I wrote my ass off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to get back to my PlayStation, but I wrote my ass off.
So what would you tell a new artist that's trying to sell a new, sign a deal with a label? Would you tell them, is there any pointers you would give them, or would you tell them, hey, go independent? That's your best option for today's climate.
If you end up in front of a label, have a lot of music.
Okay.
Don't let one song determine your heat. Because if you make that one song and they love that song and they say, we need another song because we're going to put out a vinyl, and you got to make a song either just like that or better, you're going to be under pressure from the label, under pressure from your producer, under so much pressure, you might fold. And fuck around, the record might not be as good as the record they want, and you might lose your whole deal. So stack up your records. Like, all the energy you got jumping around on stage for that one record, spend all that energy in the studio and create, and have a stock so you can show them your work ethic. You're ready to go. Dude, when you sign to a major label and it's time to go on tour, there's no excuse. You can't oversleep nothing. So limit the excuses. That's what I would tell somebody. Limit the excuses.
So, going back to some of your music, you recently put out Hyper Goth, and I was just wondering, like, what was the inspiration behind Hyper Goth, and how would you say, in your opinion, like how that music compares to some of your past music that you put out?
Well, Hyper Goth was inspired by Curtis Mayfield's Superfly. And whenever you get excited and you have to quiet your excitement really quickly because you're in the middle of something, that's Hyper Goth. Like, never mind. That's Hyper Goth.
That's fair.
So I would wake up in jail from a dream where I'm free, and I would get out of bed excited and like, damn, I'm still in jail.
Right.
So that feeling, number one. Number two, Superfly, Hyper Goth. You know what I mean? Like if you would have to watch the movie Superfly to understand who Superfly is or who the figure of Superfly is. And listening to the album, you'd have to understand that I understand who Superfly is. And I'm saying I am the Superfly of Goth subculture. Not to say I'm flashy, so on and so forth, but like to ruin the movie, Superfly is the drug connect. And Youngblood Priest is the fly nigga on the block who's selling the drugs. But he's not as fly as the dude who sold him the drugs so that he can go sell the drugs. And you never see the connect in the movie. And Hyper Goth, all of the Gothic poetry that I'm spitting, you've never heard before in your life. You might have heard similar words, but you've never heard the poetry in your life. And going back to the psychic vibration thing, I really went in as far as communicating with Curtis Mayfield back in '76. And there's 2 James Brown flips, like communicating with James Brown. I'm communicating with the dead.
Okay.
So it's, Hyper Goth is deeply spiritual. It's a good foundational album. If it's somebody's first time listening to my music, I would recommend Hyper Goth.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
I think some of the bars on there are out of this damn world. Like, if I could quote some bars for you really quickly.
Yeah.
I said, glory is gold, the story is told. Ain't no one on Maury no mo. Isn't it funny how maturity reigns and I've been doing the same thing? Now, who knows what? I do too much. You know what? In you know what goes my foot or slipper, glass, look at the past. Now, the second track on the album, I said, born and gave birth, crazy, ripping the purse apart. I'm talking about literally demeaning myself as a male figure in order for people to come closer. Not like that's me sharing my vulnerability. Like I'm tearing myself apart so people can come closer. So I am my own Gothic sacrifice.
Okay.
So that the song I was just spitting, strangely enough, is me seducing an ex of mine, of whom may or may not have had my baby. So I said, the glory is gold, the story is told. Ain't no one on Maury no more. Like, I'm not guessing that kid is mine. I believe that kid is mine. So there's no.
Yeah, I get it now. Right. I get it now. Yeah.
And that goes back to your transparency where you're saying if you get it, you get it.
Right. And if you would have to keep listening. And then, so I do magic. So a lot of it is revealed. There's a particular spell I use. And I use it more so in my hooks. I'm not cheating. I add a little sprinkle to it. It's called Forget Me Nots. So it lingers a little bit. Verses, excuse me, say to my verses. So it lingers on. So if you press play on track 1, it all lingers through. And you see Patrice Rushen playing the piano through your head saying "Forgive Me Not."
So that kind
another
of
psychic vibration experience.
Got you. So does that kind of lends to like the cohesiveness that you look for when you're making a project?
Yeah, I mean, I put it all together like that. You know, like it can be tiresome, you know, but once I'm in the studio, I forget about sleep. It's all
Right.
about
Yeah.
getting it done.
Just kind of locked in. So like so just from what we hear in terms of like hypergoth and the comparison to the before and now, like what motivates Charles Hamilton the artist when he just for that create just to allow that creation, that space for creation to happen.
What motivates me? Love. Straight up.
And I mean, to me, I think love is kind of self-explanatory. But would you want to like kind of expound on that just for anybody that may not understand and or to those details for yourself?
Well, I'm gonna say it like this: I'm addicted to black love.
Okay.
When somebody say I and give you a pound, and then seeing they fucking with it, I'm
Yeah.
addicted to that. Like I love black love. I love when girls aren't quote unquote on my dick, but interested in what I do.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
black girls
Yeah.
interested. You know, black boys like, yo, you my nigga. Like I love that. I love when older black people say to me like, where did you find this record? I haven't heard this in years. You know, like younger black people say, I want to learn how to mix and chop up like you. I love black love. I'm addicted to black love. I'll say it like that. Black
I mean that.
love. Don't take this the wrong way. Black people, don't cancel me. Black people, black love does not pay the bills.
Okay.
So white people have a kind of love where, hey Charles, I love your album. Let me buy 400 copies of it. There's no physical copies. All right, well, I'll invest money so you can put it on vinyl and I'll buy it all. You know what I'm saying? Like when they love something, they buy it. Spanish people are
That's true.
Spanish people are sticklers about the beat. You know, like when a Spanish girl loves your beat, you can do no wrong. And when a Spanish girl loves the beat, the Spanish boy wants to rap over the beat in their language. So I let them do it. That's love. That motivates me. You know what I'm saying? Like a white person having no claim over me except for a couple of dollars. And they know that I'm not aiming for those couple of dollars, but I need it. They pat me on the back and be like, for certain, it's cool. Here, just hold on to this. Give me a whole 20,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's love. Black people, I take this 20,000 I just got from white people, go over to black people and just buy up mad weed. Like, yo, I hit a lick. Let's smoke.
Back.
And we all smoke. So what you hit this lick from? From Hypergoth. What? Yo, let's bump that shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
Love motivates me, man. Asians still ain't get over me with Sonic. You know, I'm not being racist. Don't call me out.
So
yeah, good.
I want to ask you something about the whole black love thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure you may have a conversation like this in the past, but why is it that when we're talking about like the black community, when it comes to supporting rap artists, it's kind of more or less of a struggle versus white people or people from other groups and cultural backgrounds? I feel like when you go to these big shows, festivals, concerts and stuff like that, it's usually like the white people are like the driving force for that artist. But with I'm not saying black people don't support black people. Obviously that's a false thing to say. Mm-hmm. But why is it like the white audience is on the forefront of that support versus our brothers and sisters?
Black people don't want to wait till you fall off. And enough people have fallen off in black people's arms for black people to be skeptical about it. Before, I'm going to say this, then I'm going to get to your point about white people showing support versus black people showing support. Before I called Eminem the GOAT, now he's my favorite rapper, don't get me wrong, I sat through about 4 or 5 albums of his. Now, everybody called him the GOAT after the Slim Shady LP. And if they didn't call him the GOAT, they were like, they were waiting for the next album to see if he's the GOAT. Here's Marshall Mathers LP. Everybody called him the GOAT. Eminem shows. Few people say that he fell off. Few people say he went hard. Because I didn't want to get my heart broken by a white boy, You know what I'm saying? Like this nigga just fell off on Dr. Dre beats. I'll be mad as hell if I devoted my life to this nigga and he falls off with Dre beats. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
took my time to listen to it. Black people kind of don't do that no more. Like, oh, you on the radio? Oh, that's cool. Oh, you on TV? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, okay. I'll listen. Now they're streaming, so now they can listen to the music. But it's like $20. It was like $12 to $20 to buy a CD back when Eminem was doing music in stores. Black people ain't got $20 to spend every Tuesday for a new album, only to find out that this artist is bullshit. So it's more economical why Black people aren't quick to support. Because if Uzi had dropped, I can't think of like another hot rapper. Like Uzi, that I just want to rock joint is crazy.
It is.
But that joint is crazy. So if he were to drop bars on EXO Tour Life and keep that hook, people would be more excited about this release. He dropped bars on this release, but it's to Baltimore, but it's a big hit.
Yeah.
So what are Black people gonna do? Are they gonna support it? Because he's everywhere now. I mean, Cardi B represented for her people. You know what I'm saying? Like she got nothing but Hispanic love.
True.
Yeah.
You know, she represented for her people. Spanish people never had a Cardi B. You know what I'm saying? So there's no telling what their reaction truly is or was, but she went diamond.
Yeah.
So she dead don't have to do nothing more. But
well-oiled machine.
Right. That was her people talking. White people support Lil Uzi Vert. Black people have their criteria, of which Lil Uzi Vert hasn't met yet. Now we haven't the unfortunate elephant in the room is Drake. You know, like even if you don't like a Drake song, it's gonna be a hit.
Yeah.
Easily.
You know, and it's like I remember when I called him in 2008 after I heard I think Comeback Season, and I wanted to do a trio between me, him, and Young Chris. Because I had to connect to Young Chris at the time, and he was buzzing, you know, outside of Jay-Z. He outside of working with Rockefeller, he was building his own underground buzz. So Drake was building a buzz, Young Chris was building a buzz, and I'm building a buzz. And I'm like, yo, not for nothing, we should start a trio and just shut the shit down. I produce or whatever, you know, like I got it. I can't because I'm working with Young Money, my single about to drop. I said, that's all love, man. Much respect, much success to you.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, Best I Ever Had drop and nobody can reach him again.
Right.
So, I mean, that kind of flair to, you know, have everything he dropped as a hit. I don't think, honestly, Nevermind was a hit, but it's not a bad album as a DJ. Like for a DJ, you know, they would love that album. DJs love that album.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't think Drake has missed yet. To have that kind of flair is awesome. And now, like, unlike Michael Jackson, who didn't have the internet by his side, Drake got the internet. So Drake could walk in the studio with Gwen Stefani, lay some shit down today and put it out, and it'd be a smash hit.
Yeah.
You know, Drake is benefiting from the internet.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
For sure.
You know, and I think Drake is finding himself in a bind because there's no seeing him. I don't think anybody in the game can see him right now. Outside of the ghostwriting rumors, like I don't know if anybody can see him. Take me out of the equation, I'll tear anybody's head off.
All right.
But you know, I don't think any of these. I mean, maybe Little Baby.
Now, are you saying Lil Baby because of like his popularity, or are you saying Lil Baby because you actually think like, you know, bar for bar, skill for skill, he can compete with Drake?
Have you read Lil Baby's lyrics?
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't go on Genius or whatever and check Lil Baby lyrics.
That little nigga crazy. He's dope. Like it's kind of like an inside thing. Like
Okay.
once you here we go. Like once you understand the trajectory and the overall process of writing that he's doing, it'll blow you. You'll be like, bravo, bravo. I can say that I do. He's doing what I do, except I don't write and I'm more articulate.
Okay.
So, but he's doing some slick shit. I might have stopped doing it in like 2013, 2014. I just started meshing all my styles together and just made this big ass like spirit bomb. I was watching Dragon Ball Z for the first time yesterday, so I'm like amazed. But
For the first time?
Yeah, I couldn't get into it.
Like ever.
Really?
I couldn't get into DBZ.
Oh,
nah,
shit.
man.
That's crazy.
I couldn't do it.
That's just surprising.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, man. I used to. You ever watch a Street Fighter manga?
Yeah.
That's my shit right there. Street Fighter manga. It's on. I'm gonna send you a link to it.
All right.
I bet.
We appreciate that. I wanted to ask a side question. Now, there's a history of you being a fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog product. Now, does that mean that you into video games? Like you actively follow video games, or is just Sonic the Hedgehog was just your shit and that's it?
Woo. I mean, I connected with Sonic in '89, maybe a little sooner than that. When I saw the commercial,
Okay.
you know, it was a classic commercial, and it was just like mom and dad had bought me a Nintendo.
Okay.
And I had a Nintendo, a Night Bright, a drum set. I had a basement, my nigga. My basement was lit, but I had some cool toys in there. And one day I decided, fuck it, let me play Nintendo. So I'm playing it, whooping ass, you know, but it's moving so slow. So I turn it off, go upstairs, get some food, whatever. And on TV, I see this fast moving blue thing. I'm like, yo, I literally was just playing this competition. This nigga is bugging right now. What is going on? So I'm watching it and I'm like, yo, I gotta get a Sega Genesis. So I was acting good, you know what I mean? And I think my aunt bought a Sega Genesis for my cousin and they left it at my grandmother's house. So whenever I would go over there, I'd be playing Sega. And, you know, I put my asshole cousin, you know what I'm saying? But pause. But yeah, I always had to play 2-player. But yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's just like I can't explain. You know how people are about Bugs Bunny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I am about Sonic.
Okay, fair enough.
I love Bugs, but Sonic is my dude, man.
So no other like video games you ever really got into? Like you never played old school Grand Theft Auto growing up, or any of the current shit like 2Ks, Madden,
Or
et cetera,
Street Fighter.
or Street Fighter. Yeah.
Nah, I get my ass whooped in Street Fighter.
Okay.
That's just the truth. Yeah, GTA 3 through 5.
Okay.
I
Cool.
think so. GTA, there was Vice City and San Andreas, right?
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, so yeah, first GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas. Those were I used to play those all the time. Live 06.
Yeah.
I
Classic.
think Steve Nash was on the cover, or Iverson in Denver.
Yeah, I think so. I forget. I used to have Live 06 back then. So
With the freestyle controls.
Yep.
Yeah.
I used to be cutting niggas' ass with that shit.
I liked the Live 05 with Carmelo, and I liked 07 with T-Mac on the cover.
Was Lava 5 the one with the dunk contest?
Yep.
Yeah.
And 06. No,
Yeah.
wait. One of the years they skipped the dunk contest.
Yeah, I know 05, 07 had it, so maybe 06 skipped it, or maybe not 06. I don't know.
They might have had it.
Yeah. Now, one more question for me before I let the other guys ask their question. What do you think the future holds for you as not only as an artist, but just you as a person, you as a human being? Like, is there anything in the future you're looking forward to, or you're not expecting to happen, but maybe working towards to happen?
Well, I mean, I've done everything I set out to do.
Okay.
I think I want to feel better about that.
It's a good goal.
Everything I set out to do, I did it. And I felt like there was nothing to it but to do it. Like no one was going to make it happen for me. I made shit happen for myself. So I think maybe I'll get a helping hand. You know what I mean? Somebody's in some capacity, I get a helping hand. Or I might just be a hermit.
Ain't nothing wrong with being a hermit, man. I think that's
not at all.
I think it's an underrated thing for real.
Being off the grid is underrated. Like, you don't get bothered. People don't expect shit from you. It's nice.
Especially if you have the space just where you can still focus on just creating what you want to do from an artist standpoint, or just for yourself as just a human and man at the end of the day.
I mean, I've been dealing with people viewing me as more than what I see myself as. And I really got to get past that feeling. I mean, I don't know how to say it any other way. Like, people see me as a hero. I've been called a hero, like trailblazer. And I've been walking around feeling like I did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how could you see me as more than a musician? Like a musician is supposed to do what I do. You're supposed to have the goals I have. You're supposed to have the fire within to keep going. Somebody asked me today if I want to go to the studio. I'm like, maybe. Like, I mean, can you handle it? Like, I don't know how to explain to somebody, like, I do what I do out of love for love.
I mean, nobody can be mad at that for real.
Word up.
So like even like knowing like okay you do what you do out of like love, as you say, like do you feel as though just with everything that's happened, like just, and this is just kind of a side question but kind of somewhat relating to that, like just based off everything that you can look back at as far as like your career, the personal like battles and the uphills and the hurdles that you had to jump through, like especially where we are today, do you feel as though a lot based off what you went through then, how do you think you would have fared today as an artist if you were coming out as an artist today?
I really don't know because I think I might have to quote another song or find another song to quote. All right. You love it, then love it. If not, walk across the pond. I'm not dropping bombs. I'm just talking from the heart. Now, I got to quote the whole verse, but basically what I was saying is the person who can express all of what I'm thinking, saying, doing with, the person that can't express it has the same ability. So if I allow that person to come up and express all of what I'm feeling, then I have nothing more to say. There's no purpose for me. That person can be found all throughout hip hop, whether it's Drake, Childish Gambino, you know what I mean? Like that silver element. So it's like, if I show you love, I'm killing myself. If I don't show you love, I'm causing resentment. All I'm trying to do is get my story clear across to everyone. And the music, the instrumental, is going to be what draws you in. So if that kind of love affair that I'm talking about could be accepted in the mainstream or dealt with in the mainstream, then I'd probably be successful. On the flip side, there's Jay Dilla. So the more soulful my beats get, the more the Dilla comparison comes in. The more people say, "Oh, you fake Dilla, fuck out of here." My lyrics already aren't aggressive enough to deal with that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's an inevitable. It's inevitable. It's going down. It's a quote Pharrell.
No, love a good Pharrell quote. Love a good Pharrell quote. But no, I mean that makes a lot of sense. Like just from that understanding of like, hey, like there's so much out there. There's so much out there that like you still have like your different viewpoints, I guess you could say. So like, just one last question I do have, just based off from a fan perspective, and for the rest of your fans out there that will hopefully listen to this as well. Um, just from knowing that you speak about you one thing I've noticed so far is that you'll use like a quote from one of your songs, right? Or even from another artist. Um, what song that you've created means the most to you? Just
Childhoodless off of Hyper Goth.
Okay.
and
That
what
song, that song replaced Loser. I mean, I really didn't mean to cut you off.
oh no, you're good. Go ahead, go ahead.
That song replaced Loser as my favorite Charles Hamilton song.
Really?
And Loser was there up until the day I recorded Childhoodless.
Really? And what was that I guess as you could say the straw that broke the camel's back in that case to make to make that song be like your number one now?
I think the freedom I had with the beat and the lack of freedom I have within myself. So it's almost as if I was dancing outside of the prison system, all kinds of crazy dancing for about 15 minutes, 5 minutes per take, and then mixing. So I'm dancing outside, being free. And then when the song is finished, it's back to being a prisoner. But eventually that's going to change and I'm going to be meeting myself in freedom. And that feeling alone makes me enjoy that song.
So hold on, quick question, just to clarify. So, and I just want to make sure you're speaking. Are you speaking from a literal sense, or are you speaking just theoretically speaking? Like, did you make Hypergoth while incarcerated, from my understanding, or
From the halfway house.
from the halfway house?
So here's what happened. I caught a domestic violence case with the Star Chaser. Love her, miss her very much. Moving on. Got locked up. I got invited to a program house while I was locked up. So I'm in the program house now. While in the program house, I set up a GoFundMe to try to book a studio so I can record an album while I'm in this situation.
Right.
It's called Hypergoth. I give all the details. And I raised about, I think the goal was 500, 600. And we ended up making 2,000. So, booked me, Chris Rivera, booked the studio, flew out, some Star Chaser, got into the studio, and it was their first time in a studio. So I'm showing my Star Chasers how I do what I do and showing them the difference between the music you've heard before this one and this one is professionally engineered. So this is Charles Hamilton production, Charles Hamilton bars, Charles Hamilton everything except for the engineering. I don't want no complaints about the sound. So with everything being in sync, I put it down for Childhoodless, and I really feel like that's like one of my favorite songs of mine.
No, that's. I mean, when you kind of give that breakdown, now it gives even more like it clears up the understanding as to why why it's one of your more favorite songs now. And it's also just from hearing your story, it's good to hear that being able to put out like the GoFundMe, you were able to get that support, and also it lets you know like, hey, there's people out here that still want to hear Charles Hamilton.
Absolutely.
Man, I want to believe it. Here we go with belief. I want to believe like the X-Files.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I go through ups and downs all the time. When you know you don't know no. Let me repeat that. When you know you don't know no, there's always a
Yeah,
possibility. When
Right.
you put in X
that's
amount
true.
of work, you don't the limit is beyond the sky, like higher than space.
Nah, that's a fact though. That is a fact. I mean, we're essentially boundless to some extent in life.
Yeah.
I think it's just depends on the boxes we put ourselves in.
And you get bound by signing a contract.
That's an
That's the
obligation.
that's the limit.
Yeah.
That's the limit. That's why I was like, I would rather be free and have things, technically provided for me than to sign to a label and they change their mind in the middle of a great day. You know what I mean? Like some executives are straight bipolar.
Have you ever wanted to start your own label, maybe, or do that in the future, maybe?
Well, that takes money. It takes a lot of
Right,
money, you know,
right.
because they got to get paid up front. Then you got to pay this for their studio time, pay for their producer, sample clearances, pay the engineer, got to pay for promotion, you got to pay for distribution. Like everything, they don't come out of pocket at all. They're treated like royalty. Now, I happen to know I treat people like royalty, but because I treat people like royalty, I treat people like crap. It's like, nah, you're not getting that kind of love from me. Like, you got to earn that.
Yeah, fair enough.
And yeah, so, it's kind of it's a little heartbreaking to some extent, but, if I start a label, I'm not quick to drop an artist. I'll drop an artist before I drop an artist. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. Nah. Nah, I can understand that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's business when it's all said and done, I mean that's the unfortunate part, I guess you can say, in that whole process, because I'm quite sure artistically, you want to be what you want to be artistically and what you have to be from a professional business side. There's probably a gap in between there, and kind of going in that route, anything can happen. So I can understand that.
Well, that's why I stay neutral. Going back to the LA gang scene, I stay neutral. Like I say what's up to everybody.
Hmm.
I can't say like I'm joshing around. I'm saying I'm scared, but I don't carry myself in a way to need to be scared. But you gotta be pure, man. You gotta be about you. You gotta naturally be pure. Think about that. You have to naturally be pure. If you my friend, hold on, Darius, I see that you are exuding what you want to say, so the words aren't coming out the way you need them to, but you actually have more to say about the subject matter, whether it's me or being free in the music business. When you sign a deal, it's like joining a gang, and they direct you to certain areas. If this gang record label doesn't get along with that gang record label, there's some money you might miss out on. And that gang record label may come to you directly, say, hey, we want to get this money, come fuck with us. There's a lot of politics that go on like that. I don't fuck with that shit.
Yeah.
I was on Interscope and somebody from Sony came up to me like, you have to leave Interscope. It's a bad deal. Like, nah, I can't talk to you. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. I can't talk to you. And if you are somebody special to me and you just made that move, I can't trust you anymore.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't try to like outside of Jimmy's street moves, Jimmy is a great guy.
Yeah.
Jimmy
Anybody
Henchman?
who Jimmy Iovine,
Jimmy Iovine, okay.
anybody who says something to the contrary of that, I leave them alone.
That's
You
fair.
know, you got
Yeah.
that's how you got that's I can't speak on what I haven't seen from Jimmy. I can't speak on that. All I know is Jimmy treated me fair. He presented me with the fork in the road and literally left me to have that problem. It's a great problem to have. Let me tell you the story. So Pharrell, I was just in the studio with Pharrell, not just now, but I was back 2009. I was in the studio with Pharrell, And Pharrell kept saying, Jimmy said, if we make a hit, you can sign a Star Trek. I'm like, why are you worried about the hit, Pharrell? You killing the session. Don't worry about this. Let's just make music. Like, nah, we need a hit. We need a hit. So we made Hyperspeed. And we go to Jimmy's office. And I played him Hyperspeed. And he said, oh, so what have you been working on? So I played him Sega music. You know that song, Sega music? Who do music all day? Who do music all day? I played Sega music. I played Hyperspeed, then I played Sega music. Jimmy says, the Pharrell produced joint is a hit. The you produced joint is a classic. What are we going to do? And I said, honestly, Jimmy, if you take a chance on the me produced joint, you might have a bigger hit. Said, yeah, but it's a Pharrell produced record. Like, keep it real. Like, everybody, like, it's a Neptune's production, but Pharrell showed his ass. Like, Pharrell kind of went in on Hyperspeed. I gotta give him props on that. Like, Pharrell went in on Hyperspeed. He did his thing. I played little keys on there, but Pharrell did his thing. So, keeping that in mind, where do we go from here? Like, Jimmy, like, I can't argue with a Pharrell point, but if you take the chance, I mean, it may be worth both of our while. So I don't know, man. I ain't got you on this one. So we kept it moving, you know, and that kind of like Jimmy is known for making classics. So he's got a hit on his hand and a classic. Brooklyn Girls was a hit, but it comes across more as a classic now.
Yeah,
definitely.
You know, so it's like, what? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know, he didn't ask for Brooklyn Girls to be put on Entourage. He didn't ask for Brooklyn Girls to be a single. Somebody at the office made that move. That's how big the record was. But like, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. Finish your thought.
It's like my good friend is making classic music, but we need a hit. We need a hit. I'm like, my good friend is known for classics, but he needs a hit. My good friend wants a hit, but I got a classic.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's a great hair pulling conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do? But, you know, I guess it turned out that he wanted me to figure it out on my own. That's what it looks like.
I mean, Charles, like, you know, this has been like really informative, honestly. Like, we found out quite a bit, you know, like we've talked about like a hell of a lot of shit like throughout this interview. Is there anything that you wanted to say before we, you know, like get out of here?
I'm Harlem to the heart, but Ohio is my birthplace. So I guess that means I got that country bounce in the first place. It's genetic. I'm so nice, it's pathetic. My bars are so complex, I don't get mad if you don't get it.
I'm not mad at it. I think
we get it though. We get it though.
Hey, I want to spit that verse for you. Like I want to spit this song for you. Like,
yeah, do your shit, man. Go ahead.
For it. Go for
Spit your shit.
All right, let me see where y'all at. Let me see where y'all at. This shit. I say, yeah, I go to sleep for a quickie. Immediately, I'm with Vicky. Keeping it secret against me is the secret. Unfortunately, supporting the Vicky of the biggest G next to me. From downtown, I see another Vicky like Tori. And I pop a pill because I got skills, smiling, joking, no longer joking, wilding, open, wilding because I'm open, wilding when open, but then I become an omen. So much more, I hope you know it. Regardless, I have become a poet. Synchronicity, because I've been drinking and sipping Vicky, it seems as if one of the people who are against me or for me has a secret, has something they like to say. I don't shower, I stay in the daylight. So please enjoy the box of soap bars. You know it's hot, but don't avoid the spot. You must go to be who's up with flow. Go. Cutting me off. I ain't touching buttons, dog. I'm just saying what I must. You love it, then love it. If not, walk across the pond. I'm not dropping bombs. I'm just talking from. You get bit by a llama, your skin might not take the pain. Then again, there's honor, and I got a sacred brain. So I say what I may and save the pain for the refrain. Like the hook, I'm a good enough look. I'm not shook. You put it down, then I get it up. Like Maya or Rihanna. Just depends on if you like my fire. But don't stand next to it. Kind of do me how I brew it. You knew me, I knew it. Niggas jeopardize. Now I ride with the truest one.
I like that, man.
I fuck
Yeah,
with it.
Like,
so how about for a Charles Hamilton verse? If somebody's trying to get you in,
you want some bars now?
no, I'm asking for just the general public. How much for it?
Oh man, 600 via Cash App.
All right.
Okay, yeah, man. Now, honestly, that's a fair price. Honestly,
Wow, facts.
that's fair.
Get on your Cash App, listeners. That's the one thing I will say.
All right.
You want to drop that cash app, Charles?
Oh yeah,
And socials.
cash tag THEPHENOM 718. That's that cash tag the Phenom 718.
Okay.
And my social, for now, youtube.com/the talented Mr. Hamilton.
Boom.
Listeners, make sure you rewind that part of the podcast and listen to his drops, listen to, his Cash App handle, listen to his YouTube handle. If he didn't hear it, make sure you rewind it again and listen to it again. Because he
Cash tag the Phenom 718. Not 1718, not the Phenom 1718, the Phenom 718.
See, there you go.
Nah, that's what it is. And on top of it, you got a Twitter that you can give them also?
Yes, sir. Twitter.com/Charles Hamilton.
Boom.
That's what it is, man. That's what it is. We're glad to have you on the show, man. It was great, definitely from a fan perspective, definitely from like just your core base. I'm quite sure when they get a chance to hear this, they're gonna love to hear how you've been. Definitely with the conversation we've had.
So, this has been the Highly Advised podcast. We're about to head out of here, y'all. Definitely thank you for listening. Charles, thank you for coming here and doing an interview with us.
Yes, sir.
Definitely appreciative. We'll see you guys soon. You've been highly advised. We'll be out of here. Thank you for listening. We're out.
Out.